Hello, everyone. This look today comes to you via working mom, homeschooling mom. Just is what it is. So disregard the aesthetic. It's actually not what I'm here for, but more so to update you on this last year. So for the last week or more, I've seen photos of who would have been Ezra's peers on their last day of school. And while the photos are sweet and cute with their teachers and with their new friends, it's bittersweet because he didn't get that experience. He did get a lot of one-on-one attention, but he didn't get an opportunity to go to school in person this year. In August, they started with the online learning. That was never going to work for him. We knew that out of the gate, logging in and out and trying to do assignments and stuff on an iPad was just not going to work for him. However, he did have therapies online during that time, and the nannies did a pretty good job of making sure that he was at least trying to sit and pay attention and cooperate and communicate with the therapist during that time. Was it great? No. No fault of the therapist, fault of the situation. And then in October, they went back to school or in person part-time. Ezra did not because he does not wear a mask. Does not wear a mask. CDC, state of Kansas, and now Ezra's physician. Ezra does not wear a mask, period. Autism is so much more than just speech and language, but it's communication, it's sensory processing, it's behavior, and particularly for Ezra, there's concern of seizures. So there's a lot that's wrapped into that. But talking a little bit about behaviors in that regard to his diagnosis, over the summer, all we were really hoping for was for that kindergarten experience so that he could have peers and, learn from them and make friends and improve on some of these behaviors that are a little more atypical. Nonetheless, he did not get it, and it is what it is. Over the last year, he's made maybe 3 friends, which is awesome. And also kind of sad just because he should have had so much more exposure in that regard, but we're grateful for those 3 and we adore them. So we'll fast forward to the full return to in-person, or return to full-time in-person, which was the end of March, which again, he did not go because he does not wear a mask. However, I did contact the school about honoring a mask exemption for him, not to return to classes, but to return to in-person services, so one-on-one with a therapist. And I talked to, first off, I talked to his sped teacher, and then I talked to the principal, and then it was the IEP team, and then it was the school board, and then it was the SPED director, and then it was back to the IEP team. So just this big circle. I mean, the amount of emails and phone calls over the last couple of months is just ridiculous. All an effort to get Ezra, a 5-year-old boy with a disability, his services in person. Whenever we talked about the return to in-person for his services, I discontinued, or I should say paused, his online therapies because it was getting to the point, 8 months into this whole ordeal, that he was done trying to log in. The only one that he really even cared about or would kind of engage with was the occupational therapist. Otherwise, it was just really disrupting his learning environment prior to and after working with the therapist. So put it on pause, and I let those therapists know that my hope is for us to return in person. I hope to see you soon. I hope for Ezra to meet you in person. So after the big circle of round and round with the IEP team, principal, school board, yada yada, it came down to the IEP team determining whether he could come in person or not. And they asked us for a medical mask exemption. So I took Ezra to get an evaluation from his physician, and it was about 2 weeks after, because it takes time to get an appointment, and that's my assumption as to why there's a medical mask exemption in the first place, or there's exemptions in the first place, because there's such a wait and a delay anyway. Nonetheless, we got his exemption, written medical mask exemption from his physician, and then the school denied it. His IEP team denied it. And it's still just ridiculous in my opinion, because he's not a threat to their health. He hasn't been around anyone. I mean, he's been homeschooled. He's made 3 friends. Like, anyway. And then additional to that is, anytime that he does show any signs of like illness, with a cough or a runny nose, I keep him home. I'm not that parent that masks it and sends him anyway. Masks. That was great. Good term to use there. Anyway, all of this to say that we are so disappointed with our school and our IEP team. And this is our experience, and it's not a good one, but it's still important to share. I'm not calling out our school or the IEP team members. That's not what this is about. More so, I'm grateful for our therapists, our private therapists, who have seen Ezra without any issue, ever, any issue. And I'm grateful for the confidence that our family has built now to support Ezra's needs, because at the end of the day, what we have is us. And what I learned this year is that we are capable and that we cannot depend on the system. At Ezra's doctor's appointment, we were there for an hour. We talked about all of his previous medical history. We went over his diagnosis from KU Med. And when she told me that she was going to write the medical exemption for us, I started to do this. Started to get teared up, full of emotion. And she said, "Whitney, you are a great mom, and you're a great advocate." And while this is something that I didn't necessarily need to hear, it validated our experience for the first time in a year. So it's not my intention to upset or offend anyone, but sitting on my hands and staying silent doesn't serve Ezra. My main intention with sharing this information about being denied and being super frustrated by that is to provide for my son's individual needs and to step up while others stayed seated. For the ones who got to go in person this year, I'm so happy for you. I hope that Ezra can go to school next year in person. If not, because of a mask situation, which likely we will not return to public school. That's how big of a blow this was for us this year. Like, I can't trust that his needs will be met. And for anyone who's wanting to know like why they denied it, it was because they didn't see any medical reason. His diagnosis is the medical reason. And if that's not understood, then I don't think the diagnosis is understood. Anyway, that's what I got. And just take it for what it is. This is our experience. Hopefully it wasn't yours. And, hopefully August 2021 will be a better start for everyone. Regardless, we're going to take care of our boy and his sister and their educational needs, their medical needs. So we got it. You got it too. Thank you.